job to surviving a breakup. And Grace is joining us now. Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning.
I love the title. I love the topic. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We start with things I just said. Landing a job. What's the advice there?
The advice there is taking the time to find out what you really want to do. Because getting a job, like, I'm sure you guys all love your jobs here, but I'm sure it didn't happen overnight. They were like, I'm going to host this morning show, and bam, it happened. It's resigning yourself to the idea that it takes a long time to get to a place that is really fun and rewarding on that level, but knowing where you want to spend the time to get there.
Now I'm being stereotypical here, but you're talking to millennials, and I can imagine they're like, what? Wait? Patience?
I know that they don't have a minute to finish a YouTube video. So how can they spend 5 years trying to carve out a career? It's tough, and now there's this whole new sector of digital-based jobs that are like viable career paths, which just didn't really exist when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Making web videos and that whole thing was a hobby for me that eventually translated itself into a job. So I always tell people, really have hobbies that you're really passionate about, and like if you can translate that into something that is also financially gratifying, good for you.
Describe that path for you, because the YouTube, I mean, there has been a bit of a blueprint. There are a number of people who are doing different things, whether it be music or whatever it is, but it almost is like that opportunity for you. If you don't necessarily know what you want to do, you've been able to carve out a career, and this is your job.
Yeah, it's very strange. My parents did not understand it for a really long time. When you tell them that you make videos on the internet, there's
that can be taken on you.
Oh yeah, real gross. Yeah, they thought the other way.
For people who aren't familiar with It's Grace, we're showing a little clip now, but what kinds of things do you talk about?
I talk about things that people deal with on a daily basis. I try and talk about things that we deal with in life, give advice, do fashion tips, pseudo makeup tutorials, that type of thing. And a lot of times I ask the audience directly, what do they want to talk about? What do they want to see? Collaborate with other YouTubers, other friends, that sort of thing.
But you have to become an expert, more or less, at least in any given topic.
Or at least fake it, and I hope that people think that you're an expert.
And you have to be dedicated. How many times a day do you post? Do you post one video a day?
I was posting so I've been doing this for about 6 years in total, and for 5 of those years I was posting 5 videos a week. Monday through Friday. So there's a few thousand videos of my face that exist in that ether somewhere.
Do you remember the very first one?
I remember when I was in college, I took some editing classes, and our professor made us all register a YouTube account, and I had no idea what it was, so that we could post some of our projects on YouTube, and that's how we could all watch each other's projects in class. And so I think my first video I posted was a montage that was supposed to be like a self-portrait montage, and I thought it was like solid gold. I thought it was real great. So you have to start somewhere, and then you kind of get to see like the progression over time when you reflect on it.
How did you learn to start making money from this?
Oh, I learned by hearing that was even possible. It started, YouTube came about, and I didn't know much about it. I was just making these web videos because they were fun, and I really wanted to make friends laugh, and I wanted to, spend creative energy doing that. I was doing improv comedy in New York City for a while, and it was really difficult to get 100 human beings to travel to the theater and pay to see you make up a bunch of stuff in front of them. But it was a lot easier to get 100 strangers to watch a video of you on the internet. So I started to focus my attention more on the digital side of things. And there's a very strong community in YouTube of content creators. And when you start talking to each other, you start realizing the ways that you can make financial deals and different things online. It's still a developing platform, and it's still a kind of a ever-changing area right now.
Hats off to anybody who can get the attention, because there's so much content gets thrown on there. In your book, you talk about a lot of different things. You're doing a brilliant job here right now, but you talk about a not-so-great interview that happened with NBC.
Yeah, one of the interviews I think that really solidified my want to be my own boss was I was interning at the Conan O'Brien for a little bit, and afterwards, a lot of the interns get kind of this first look into the page program. So you kind of are allowed to interview for the page program, which, if people are unfamiliar, is basically like a glorified intern at NBC and a way for you to get into their system to work your way up in different areas there. It's very prestigious. It's been happening for a long time, and I interviewed for it thinking like, I can do this. My parents instilled this like weird thought in me that I could do anything I put my mind to. So I went to the interview. Yeah, exactly. I know. It's like really optimism. Who knew? And I sat down with the woman that was interviewing me, and I could see the reflection of her computer screen in the window behind her, and she was just in a chat room with a friend the entire interview. And I was like, oh, she's laughing at something. Oh, it's because the emoji that her friend just sent her, because of whatever story they're going back and forth about. Yeah. And I also like wasn't totally sure that was what I wanted to do, so I definitely wasn't the most confident person going into that interview because I had no idea really how to do a job interview. So I've taken that kind of story and reflected on it and then sort of translated it into, I think, tips that are understandable and hopefully helpful to someone that has an experience similar to that.
Well, congratulations on all the success.
Thanks.
The book is called Grace's Guide to the Art of Pretending to be a Grown-Up. Grace Helbig, thank you.
Thanks.
8:53, we're going to take another short break. We'll be right back.